What's up, big dog? You're laying in your food. You're not supposed to be doing that. Yeah. That's your lunch, not your bedding. He's just a big baby. Give me this. Give me this. What's up, ranchers? Another beautiful day out here. I'm getting ready for spring lockup, I call it. And that is because we don't have a ton of room on this micro ranch, obviously. I need to pick an area about this time, which we're about mid-March. I need to pick an area every year where I'm going to confine my small herd of dexters until we get ready for spring turnout. So the grass is starting to pop, and we're actually about a week and a half earlier this year. I was looking at my grazing notes from last year, and we're actually about a week and a half earlier to when the grass started popping, but we've had a lot of good rainy days, a good amount of rain, and then some really good sunny, like 70-degree weather. So the grass is really starting to sprout. So we're getting to that point to where the cows will eat in the morning. You know, they get their morning bale. They'll get full, they'll lay down, they'll ruminate. And then usually about, noon, 1 o'clock in the afternoon, they start wandering. And they wander both pastures, both 2.5 acre pastures, looking for those fresh shoots of green grass. We all know you don't want to be grazing your grass back too early. You want to make sure it gets a really good jump on its growth before it's ripped off. We're also about 30 days out from calving. I'm just not comfortable yet with having them in an area that is far away from the house and honestly exposed to predators a little bit. The only real concern we have out here in central Iowa is coyotes. And I know that in certain parts of the country, coyote predation on cattle is a lot more common and a lot of a bigger concern. Out here, it really is not, but dexter calves are fairly small. Combine that with the fact that I've got a first calf heifer this year who I think she's going to be a great mom, but I don't know. And I don't want to figure that out because she left her calf alone and it got snatched up by a coyote or two. On top of all of this also is the fact that those two, that first calf heifer and that second calf heifer, are calving fairly early. So they were successfully bred on our first AI attempt in early July. I like to give myself about a 60-day calving window, which translates to essentially three heat cycles. I would really like to get it down to like a 42-day calving window, so only giving them 2 heat cycles, but because of my work schedule and because we're still trying to, get into a good rhythm with artificial insemination, I give them 3 heat cycles. They're going to be calving about April 16th, and that's about the time that we do spring turnout. That's about the time that the cattle get back out strip grazing the pastures. So yeah, I'm happy that those 2 got pregnant, and we obviously have all 3 of our females having calves this year. But I would have preferred to push them back another 20 days. That would have put us in full-fledged grazing mode, and it just would have given the grass a little bit more time to get going. I would like to have them calve up in that front pasture, that front 2.5 acres that's close to the house, and it's fully secure with the wood fence that also has field fence behind it. No predators can get in. Any issues with this first calf heifer, and this is that dun heifer I've talked about, who I'm really excited she was pregnant, but I was actually very shocked that she was successfully bred, because when the vet was doing the breeding, he had made comment that she just felt a little screwed up in her reproductive tract. So she is a concern, again, not only because she's a first calf heifer, but also because she could have some internal reproductive issues. We'll see. So yeah, I want to keep them close to the house. But the other issue that we're running into, and this is just classic Iowa weather, is that we are at that point in time to where it's still cold overnight and we're getting a lot of rain. I would really prefer to have the the cows have access to this lean-to that I'm in right now. We have coming up about 3 or 4 days of a good amount of rainfall on top of some possible snowfall, but just cold temps, cold overnight temps and high wind. We're at that point of the year to where, again, the cows are getting close to calving. I don't want to stress them at all. I want to keep as much body condition on them as possible. So giving them the ability to get into this lean-to and kind of stay warm, stay dry, get out of the wind, get out of the rain, that's going to be pretty paramount. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give them a small sliver. I need to set up with some poly wire, just basically a strip that gives them access to this shed and gives them some area to spread out, because again, with over 2 inches of rain coming, the last thing I want is to really confine them. That's gonna really disrupt the pasture. So give them enough of an area to spread out, and we'll keep them warm, we'll keep them dry. So what I'm going to do, again, a positive to now turning the cows back into here for the next couple days full of rain and snow, is I'm not gonna put down any more bedding. I'm gonna let them, I wanna keep them clean, obviously. I want them to lay down even more nitrogen in here to help balance out the mixture of carbon and nitrogen. So when I pull all this bedding out in the spring, it'll break down a lot easier and it'll get to that nice, dark, rich compost that we're all shooting for. So let's string up some wire, let's set some posts down. All right, there we go. Brake fence is tied into my permanent electric fence that goes all the way down to my charger way over there, and it just gives them this quarter of a 2.5 acre pasture to be in and give them access to this shed for the next couple days of bad cold weather. I had to jump. I wasn't even thinking I had to jump. I just got a mini reel with a short section. I had to jump around the shed from the back to tie it in. Again, I'm just trying to give them as little as possible. Got that there. Still probably test out at over 8,000 K. Yep. So getting good power. Not ideal. I mean, you're obviously going to get a lot more power in one solid stretch, one continuous line, than if you have to alligator clip, jump a bunch, tie in a bunch of sections together. But I've said it before and I'll say it again, half the time this wire doesn't even need to be turned on. This is just a psychological barrier for the cattle. They're not going to test it. So I should clarify too that once we get through these next couple days of rain and snow and very cold, windy temperatures overnight, I'm definitely going to then section this in half. So they're probably just going to have this half of the pasture. So again, we can get them off of this as soon as possible. So this half can really start growing up, start getting that grass coming through, and the less amount of space that they can graze, the better. And this half of this quarter, again, is it's usually shaded out during the year when all these trees on the fence line fill in, so it's already kind of poor grass. And then when it comes to calving, my plan is to, when they get close to calving, I'm going to section off a quarter of this front pasture up there by the permanent wooden fence. That's where they're gonna hang out while they get ready to calve. When they start calving, then I'll give that individual animal the opportunity to just go ahead and roam the rest of this 2.5 acres. You may or may not know, cattle, they're always gonna try and separate themselves from the herd. It's a good indication that they're getting ready to calve when they are trying to get away from everyone else, or maybe hide, just kind of that natural prey animal instinct to drop their baby in an area that's kind of out of sight, out of mind, because, we all know it kind of takes a while for those calves to get their feet underneath them. So they like to do it in private, and again, if they've been locked up, let's just say I've got a strip, a quarter of this 2.5 acres, they've been locked up there for 2 weeks while we get ready, or a week while we get ready for calving. It's gonna be a little bit messier, a lot more manure on the ground. If it's wet, it's gonna be a little bit muddier. So giving the girls the opportunity to come back into this area that they haven't been on for about 30 days will just kind of help keep those calves cleaner. And then I have absolutely no problem with a single dexter, or even these first 2 heifers and their calf roaming free on the rest of this for a few days. eating whatever grass they find, whatever. They don't eat a whole lot, and just kind of being with their calf, making sure everything's all right, making sure the calf can keep up before I turn the herd back out together. And then hopefully, you know, after a few weeks of those calves being on the ground, then I can officially get them off of R2, get them off of the home ranch, the front 2.5 acres, the back 2.5 acres, and then send them next door to that 4-acre lease. I laid a bunch of clover seed. One of the strategies to get clover to really come up and establish is to make sure that you keep that grass back, so it's not competing for sunlight, not competing for nutrients until that clover gets fully established. So by turning the cows over there first thing in the spring, it's really going to help keep that grass short and make sure that that clover can really dig in and establish. So see him, he's scratching his butt over there. That's what I'm talking about, man. They've been locked up in this doing a little dance. They've been locked up in this 2.5 acres for the past couple weeks, and so they've been scratching on the fence and just they're starting to cost me some money. So let's give them these trees. That's it for this one, guys. Anyone out there who's, you know, micro ranching or, you know, a small farm ranch acreage, whatever, that has livestock, I am curious to hear what you guys do this time of year. Again, it's, you know, it's climate specific to where you're at, but in the Midwest, we call this March mud month. Just that 70-degree days, grass starts growing, cold at night, really rainy, the frost is coming out of the ground. You just can't turn your animals out into your small area and not do damage to your grass growth for that season. So let me know what you guys do. I'm curious to hear, you know, some strategies from other people. Also, guys, if you're watching and you liked what you saw and you're not a subscriber, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I haven't really ever asked anyone to do that before in any of my videos because it's not a big deal, but we're getting actually kind of close to that 1,000 subscriber mark, which is crazy. Like when I did my first video a year ago, I never thought that I'd be anywhere near that. So I'm very thankful and appreciative for everyone who's subscribed so far. But if you want to see more videos coming up with raising Dexter cattle on a very micro scale, as well as pasture raised chicken, that's going to be something I'm going to be doing more videos of this year. Yeah, hit that subscribe button. Let's try and get to 1,000 subscribers. That'd be cool. And like always, if you guys have any questions, comments, or sarcastic remarks, go ahead and leave them in the comment section down below. I always try and get back to everyone, and I really like the interaction and the stuff that I can learn from you guys as well. All right, catch you at the next one. Well, this is not gonna help dry anything up. Good old Iowa weather.